the challenges when you arrive are big ones, because when a team has gone through a tough stretch, confidence is low, and so for me, you just need to get in and start to get as good an idea as you can of mentality of players, physically, how's the group doing, what's been going on in training. Spend a lot of time looking back on games, trying to see if there's any patterns in terms of goals conceded, that kind of thing. So for us yesterday, the win comes at a good time. For me personally, also important, because I think since I arrived that the work has been good. The players have responded really well to training. The ideas have been simple ideas. Sometimes when you come into a situation like this, you have to understand a little bit of what the club, football-wise, has been about in the past, and try to restore confidence by going back to the basics of what Swansea football has been about, and that has still centered around possession, and that has still been where defensively there's a good sense as a group of what the defending looks like. We have some players that I think have played better with a version of a three-man midfield. So we've tried to sort of take things that have worked well in the past and simplify the message and see if we can't get everybody going in the right direction. One of the things that happens when a team goes through a difficult stretch and loses confidence, as I mentioned, is that oftentimes defensively the team begins to back off a little bit too much. And that idea of stepping up and closing things down and making sure that when one man goes, the rest of the team follows and is with them, I think some of those things sometimes can start to get away from you during a difficult period. And so those were the kind of discussions that took place between me and you. And then from the day I arrived, those are the kind of discussions that you start to have with players. And then you try to put that into action, into training sessions. And at the end, you try to turn that into good performances on game day. And I think we've had a few that for me were positive. I think there's also been a couple where we weren't satisfied. We started against Man United pretty well, but after Pogba scored a goal about 13 or 14 minutes in, for the rest of the half, I think we were all very disappointed. We became far too tentative, and we lost any kind of intensity. And I think we had an important set of meetings after that game, even though it was during the international break and we didn't have everyone. And we really looked hard at some of the things that happened in that game. And what I tried to do was to make sure the players knew that if any part of the preparation or the message had given them the idea that's how we wanted to look, then I was going to take full responsibility. Now, when you do that, you don't completely believe that that's what happened, but it's all part of establishing a trust with the players. And again, it was a good way to make sure that they knew that from my standpoint, our intensity, our way of being a little bit more active and trying to make it difficult on other teams, trying to keep the ball, that we shared those ideas, and that we just had to really find the right way to work to make sure it happened for every game.